Is it the end of the Bitcoin? Let's figure out in this episode. Now, they are purposely pushing the economy into recession. 19,500 to 800 is a strong resistance that support that Bitcoin has. So eventually, I think that's what is going to happen, and that's why I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin. Now, this is what Bitcoin does. Hi, I welcome you all to the Crypto Singh Show, and my name is Gunpreet Singh, and we talk about Bitcoin, NFTs, Metaverse, everything on this show. I welcome you all to the show. What's happening with the Bitcoin market? Did we see that sell-off? Is it the end of the Bitcoin? Let's figure out in this episode. Before we go ahead, please do like, share, and subscribe. What happened with the Bitcoin market? How did we fall back? And we had a bloodbath yesterday. Well, that was after the Fed meeting, and which again meant that Fed is going to be increasing the rates, and to keep the so we have to understand what's happening here actually, and why there might have been a bloodbath in Bitcoin, but I'm getting even more bullish on Bitcoin now. What's happening is that Fed said that we will be increasing the rates to get the inflation down. Now, inflation is at around 10%, and they want to get it around 4%, 5%, or whatever that percentage would be. Now, to get the inflation down, what Fed is trying to do is increase the interest rates. Now, by increasing the interest rate, they might get the inflation down. But what is happening is that they will get the economy into recession. Now, they are purposely pushing the economy into recession so that they can get the inflation down. But what will that happen? What will that actually do is create unemployment. Now, what would that unemployment do is will lead, or will probably have a lot of people jobless. Now, when that jobless data or unemployment data goes up, the Fed, what it's going to do is print money. Now, printing money, absolutely. Can they afford to print money at around 4% if the inflation is there? Of course not. They can't print any more money. They've already printed so much which was not required. But the economy will not be saved if they don't print money. And I have probably said exactly this in about 2 or 3 months back in my video, that I think October, November, they'll start printing money again. So these things are also important for us to understand as a trader, that Fed, what they do, because it's not just Bitcoin. I mean, if you're following crypto, look at the equity market. Equity market had such a big fall yesterday. It's not on, you don't see these falls often. The red candle that was formed in equity market was huge and massive. And according to that, Bitcoin didn't fall much, nor did gold. But saying that risk assets, all of these assets would fall. And now Bitcoin has broken out of that channel and come down to, it touched 20,500 or something like that. Now, it touched 19,900 or something like that. Now, 19,500 to 800 is a strong resistance that support that Bitcoin has, because it's not been broken till now. It did break once. It went to 17,500, but that was not a confirmation. It went down and then it came back up in the channel. Saying that what Fed is actually doing, the entire the economy of US is gonna crumble under pressure in so many ways. So Bitcoin will be the only way to go forward. They are trying to after the inflation, there would be people would be jobless, unemployment would be there. So what will Fed do is, it's simple. It's gonna be like, choose the best out of the worst. So do they choose 4% inflation? Do they choose jobless people, unemployment? What are they gonna do? Print money. It's as simple as that. They will not be left with any other option. Also, the problem that the Fed has done is they've printed so much money that they've actually made people used to that money. It's like drugs. Now, you've given someone drugs, you can't now take it back from them. And once this happens, this is something that will be very difficult for people to give back. What they've done is they've made people buy the houses, they've made people put money into their businesses, and now they've increased the interest rate. Inflation is high, the interest rates have increased. Now what is happening is the interest rates are high, now they're trying to get the inflation down, and once you start getting the inflation down, you'll have to, you're increasing the rate of borrowing money, which will eventually again be a problematic situation where people, when they have to give the money back, they would lay off so many people. So I think it's one of those situations where they go this side or this side, they go left or right, they'll be stuck into this vicious circle. So the only option that the US would eventually have is about printing the money. So eventually I think that's what is going to happen, and that's why I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin. Now this is what Bitcoin does. You can't print Bitcoin. People talk about printing money. Now Bitcoin cannot be printed. There are certain number of Bitcoin available in the world, so there can't be more than that. And so is gold. So Bitcoin, gold, all of these things are going to be equally important in coming times, because I think we've already entered the uncertain times now. Earlier we were entering, I think we've already entered now, and this is a time where I haven't seen before. The amount of money being printed, the way inflation has been going up, the economy is in recession, there's everything happening around the world now, and this is slowly gradually becoming the reality. As you could see, Sri Lanka, so many countries of these type of countries are now crumbling under the pressure of financial crisis. And I think nobody talks about these financial crises, but we have to talk about how these financial crises come. Now, saying that, last time when the Bitcoin market had crashed, the property markets or the housing market had crashed, Lehman Brothers had crashed, 6 months before that, everyone said there's nothing like that would ever happen. Try and understand that we're preparing ourselves for something that might happen, and these things don't happen. They don't tell you that they are going to happen and then they happen. It's not like it's not like a guest that you invite home who says, I'm going to come and have dinner with you. These are disasters. They're just going to happen one fine day, because what happens is one big company goes down and it takes a lot of money of that bank, and then it's about one big company going down, and then it starts to trigger everything off. Usually this is what happens. And as I say, if the charts, let's compare what the charts are to human nature, right? So what do we mean by blow off top? And this is exactly what we mean by blow off top, is when we reach a peak, suddenly you see everyone selling off, and then you start coming down, and you start coming down in a straight line. Exactly like that is the housing market. Exactly like that would be recession. If they're saying we're in recession, we're not really in recession, because recession will not tell you that we're coming. It would eventually happen, and you will see people panicking, and it would be blood on street. So there's going to be some housing market collapse. There's going to be something that might collapse one fine day, and then you will see it all falling down immediately. It would be within few days you would see the entire scenario being changed. So this is something that we got to be cautious with. We got to understand that these things are bound to happen, and they might happen. So we need to be cautious, and we need to understand these things. And we are definitely into the uncertain times. We are not into the certain times. So I think, till when can you print money? Till when can you pull these things off? So if you start printing money again, the housing markets would go up. Housing will become unaffordable for anyone, because what happens is when you print money, you give it to people, and people put it in real estate, and the real estate prices starts booming. So there's a whole lot of cycle that goes on with printing money. I think printing money is not really the answer to the economies, but the governments have taken this to be the easiest way out, because then you are not in a recession, and for them it's very easy to print money, and nobody takes you out of the power. So there's so much that happens with printing of money that it is eventually really bad for the economy. and which we can see what's happening. That is why we're so bullish on Bitcoin, because this is eventually people will fall into Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin because they will see that currency has no value, and it genuinely has no value. I mean, what kind of a currency it would be if you can just print it by a machine? It just does not make sense. It's making sense till they can probably get away with it, but the day people start understanding that paper has no value, this is where the Bitcoin will actually start rising, and so is gold. So all of these things, these factors we have to take into consideration. Now, getting on to the pricing of Bitcoin, where we are and what's happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of pricing. Before we do that, please do like, share and subscribe. Now, pricing of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin were around 20,000 kind of a range. So we have broken down from the channel of 23,000, and I had predicted that now the earlier, in fact, my last video was about that we're gonna be 20,000 and we're gonna go reverse. Unfortunately, we touched 21,900 or 22,000 and then reversed. So we didn't even go to 23,000 because of the news that came out from Fed. And otherwise I would have thought that 23,000 and then we would have reversed. Now, does that mean we're going to 14,000? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's exciting because the markets, the way the equity markets have fallen, Bitcoin is holding up because 19,500 is a huge support that it has. Once that is broken, we are heading to 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, and I think now people will turn bearish, and I think the markets would have broken in October, September, which I had been predicting, but I think August end, I didn't realize that they might just break down the market, and I think now with this news, I'm pretty certain that the markets are gonna break down, and the upper level would be 23,000. I don't think it can break 23,000 now because it backs into the channel around 23,000. So I'll really have to wait for Monday to really see that confirmation that we get back into 23,000 kind of a range or 22,000 kind of a range. But I would highly doubt now that would happen. So what is happening is around 19,000, 19,500 or 18,500, we will be bouncing between 18,500, 19,000 to 23,000. I'll be taking a long around 19,500 or 600 because I think that's a good support for Bitcoin to have, and around 21,000 or something I would be taking the profits off, because 23,000, you don't know if it would reach 23,000 or reverse before that, but I would think 23,000 now becomes the monster resistance for Bitcoin, and I think 23,000 would be difficult to break that. So we've entered another leg down in the Bitcoin bear market, and after this would be my price target, which I've always been saying. So let's see what happens when it happens, but we have still some time for the bear market to go. So this is what is happening with the Bitcoin market, and what's happening with Ethereum. We can still see some buyers, well, around 1,500 now. Why are we seeing these buyers is because of the merge that is coming through. So once that merge comes through, I think we will see again a price decline, or just before that we will see a price decline in Ethereum. So that's what I think that it would be, but who knows what is how the prices would react. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. This is not a financial advice, but this is what is happening with Ethereum and Bitcoin markets, and it was one of the craziest sell-off in the equity market, and Bitcoin also came down trembling. So let's hope that we get a better market and we see the greens. But this is what is happening with the Bitcoin market and the Ethereum market, and I hope you all have registered into the Sandbox Metaverse project. I mean, you can play games to earn some free money, so please register, earn some free money, and those are just some simple games that you gotta play, and they will pay you for that free of, I mean, it's nothing you really have to do in that. So just register your KYC for you to get those rewards. If you don't register your KYC, they'll not give you the rewards. So register into it, earn some money, play some games, and enjoy the bear market. Thank you all. Signing off, Gunpreet Singh from the Crypto Singh Show. Take care. Bye bye.